special guest in here. We're gonna bring in a special guest in here. DJ.
Hey.
Yo, what's up? Where the ladies at?
It was ladies' night last night. Hey, the men, we dominating the day.
Hey, we turned up last night though. That was fun.
Listen, y'all comment in the chat. All right. Turn that down for me. Turn it down for me, DJ, and cue up that song. We got a treat for you guys today.
Yes.
And I hope you got your pens, papers, notepads ready. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy is gonna drop some keys. He's gonna give it to you. I'm gonna let Brandy intro him in, and then we got a special song that we playing to intro him into. Like,
let me get my keys ready for this brother right here. I'm just gonna hold them in my hand the whole time. So we've been talking about the racial wealth gap in the previous session we had. We kind of touched a little bit about the digital mindset, the digital divide. Well, this gentleman right here is all about that. He happens to hail out of the West Coast area. He happens to be my frat, my brother. I'm super duper excited. DJ, get ready. Bring up our brother, Mr. Mike Johns. Who?
That's right.
What's the house?
Yes.
We're taking it back a little bit.
To all my fans, and without my fans, I wouldn't be that man that made the crowd move, that made the crowd jump.
Hey, this gonna be a good think tank. This gonna be a good talk right here. I hope y'all got y'all pens, y'all paper ready, man. We gonna have a good time. We appreciate you at Busy. We'll see you here in a little bit.
Anytime. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Get it.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, we got a special guest. Hold on. We got a special guest for you, Mike.
We got a special guest. Hold on for a
Not
second.
DJ Busy. That ain't the special guest. Get him up out of here. Bring on the special. Bring on the special. We got somebody.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Man face get in it. Yo, we Mike, what I just hit you with, Mike? Hey, y'all in tune for a treat. This brother is off the chain. Let me let you know, from Urban World Wireless to I Am Digital, y'all in tune to a treat. If you don't have your keys, Lord knows I just had the keys. What happened, Mike? You took the keys. Right, Mike, I don't know what's going on. See, they got the.
You got to find those keys. You got to get those
find
keys,
the keys, man.
There you go. There you go.
Keys open up doors, y'all. If y'all don't get nothing else from Mike Johns, Mad Face, he always tell me details eliminate questions. That's right. Like the golden nugget, details eliminate questions.
Yes.
So make your next move your best move. Ladies and gentlemen, introduce yourself and present to others my little brother of the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Present to others and introduce to others my dog, my brother, 7-figure Negro on Juneteenth. Y'all give it up for Mad Face, aka Mike Johns.
That part.
Let's go. We ready. Let's go.
Y'all drop those.
Oh my God.
And I'm gone.
Dropping for Mike Johns. He's in the building. He's getting ready to light it up. Let's jump into it, David, because we got to get all of this. All of these things.
I mean, we got to get it. First off, Mike, man. Hey, I've only known you for a little bit, but man, I feel like you're already a big brother, big mentor to us. We appreciate everything all the advice you've given us so far. Just tell the people a little bit. Let's intro you just from your own words. Just tell the people about your entrepreneurial journey, what you've been up to, what you got going on. We want to give them a brief introduction before we get into these questions.
Right on. So thank you guys for having me. The intro, this is crazy. I love it. And I love the keys. That's way hot. My company, Digital Mind State, we're a creative agency. We service the likes of brands such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora, T-Mobile, and a slew of others. We work with a lot of startups for the establishment of growth. And we sit at this intersection, this unique intersection between technology, entertainment, and lifestyle. And so that's what we do in a nutshell. We're really big into brand development, growth. On the Black Hand side, I'm very big into digital literacy. And establishing that, understanding the whole get down on the get down. And that's a word that y'all gonna hear me say a lot in this conversation, the get down. You gotta be up on the get down. Church.
Church. Church. I get the church.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Let's get into it.
We're gonna establish some new rules then, since we got the get down. We're gonna drop sevens, and then we're gonna drop the get down for brother Mike here.
Come on now.
Of rules, since he's graced us with his presence. So David, I'll let you kick it off for us.
Hey, so obviously the COVID happened, and
oh man,
it was a curse to some people, it was a blessing to other people, and every crisis there's an opportunity. So just talk to us about the whole great mega shift, just the future of work now that COVID kind of has forced people to make a mind shift.
Yeah, it's real times. I look at the world as there was once, when we was on our biblical walks, we know the world as BC versus AD, the year of the Lord, before Christ, and then the year of the Lord. I've really been on it with BC being before coronavirus, AC being after coronavirus, and right now we're in year zero, the year of focus, the year of pivot, the year of trying to figure it out. And so a lot of things have happened right now. We've seen this on, I think this is the first time in our life that we have something that could relate with what World War II, World War I must have been like. If I'm on calls with people from the Ukraine to Vietnam, India, South Africa, and we have this one thing in common called COVID, that is really impactful. It's like, it's extremely sad because we've seen in the news this talk of the pandemic and then the second wave. Here on the West Coast, the second wave is real. From Texas, Arizona, California, where the weather is warm and the blue skies, palm trees, and you tend to act like life is normal. It's not. And so in this second wave of things, economically, Black people are really going to get hit hard. The brown people, we're going to get hit very hard. And so there's this pivot, there's this understanding, when I'm talking about the year zero of trying to figure things out, the future of work is definitely impacted. You guys are seeing it right now with we're working at home, remote working. And here's how Black people are really hurt, because the bulk of jobs, if you're not a knowledge worker, and there's some gray areas in between, the end of the spectrum is you're a service worker. As a service worker, you're at McDonald's. Tyrone and Shaquita's at McDonald's. How can they work remotely? There's 16 million people that were able to make a transition to work conveniently from home, like myself, and get the money. But then what about those? And every one of you guys have a friend that's not in that situation, that was either the hair salon, the mechanic shop.
Right.
This is right now, due to COVID, we've seen the division of work, and that's called the essential versus non-essential. And the majority of us, where do we lie? We're in the non-essential, right?
Yeah.
So there's serious problems that are going on, and this is in this year of figuring it out. I'm working. I think for my company, we've been at this forefront of being a solution specialist. So whether it's large to small operations, what do we do in these times? We've seen, you guys are witnessing right now, even in the world of entertainment, and I'm going to speak a lot on in the realm of entertainment, because this is where we find a lot of our large influencers that are Black and those with some money that can kind of collectively move the needle. We have to remind me on that word, collaborative, or the collective. But for right now, the entertainment industry is looking for new ways. How do I monetize? I don't have any gigs. What do? I need to generate money. So we have such complexities in the problem. You see Erykah Badu doing a performance, and before COVID, those tickets to an Erykah Badu concert might have been $80, $100. Now it's $1. Performance live from home. Cash at me. Cash at me, right? That's that pivot. That's that pivot. And I love what she did in terms of, hey, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna do this versus, you know, that entertainment that they do in these times. I thought that was great as a solution, right? Now I come in and say, how can you monetize that? Because I didn't come here to entertain. I don't come here to rap and sing, but I do come here to get serious and move the needle. So we have a lot of work to do, but the key thing to that is that there's been this great mega shift. And this mega shift is the fact that that's governed by forced disruption. We talk about the Teslas, we talk about the iPhone as great products that have hit the market, but COVID was forced disruption because in January, it was all good in the hood. Right. Came March, some new shit popped off. Some new shit popped off that was that forced disruption. That kicked off the mega shift. And then in this mega shift, we've now seen the future of work impacted between essential working, non-essential working remotely from home. Who's going to be impacted by that? I haven't even begun talking about the fresh new college graduates and how will they be impacted in this, because that's also a part of a divide. There's a new divide that's still happening right now. I want us to be clear.
Yeah, I got so many questions swirling in my head right now. I have to ask you this question though before we go any deeper, because
yes, ma'am.
People know, they're in the chat right now going, him, I'm familiar with his work, what's his IG, and you ain't even got into it yet. But I want to know, how did you like arrive to where you are right now? Like, how did Mike Johns, you know what I'm saying? How did you get into this space? Let's talk about that real quick.
I get hit with that so many times. And it's interesting. I'm going to give a major shout out to my parents. You know, I really have to give it up to them because they entered. Yes, they get the key. I got to get some keys.
Somebody get Mike some keys.
Yeah, I got to get some keys. My keys, you know what? We so techie that my keys are the app.
Oh, right.
The car, the house. Yeah, that's a bit.
Well, you are. They said you are a seven-figure Negro, so.
That's Sean Ross.
That's Sean Ross. Where's Sean Ross?
That's Sean Ross. Yes, but they started. You know, I think I saw the movie Star Wars, and then my parents introduced me to something. And we're from Jamaica, so look at this timeline here. I was watching reruns of this show called The Twilight Zone. That was the biggest shit ever. As a kid watching it, there were some scenes that that was like rated R at 7. You know, like that was some real, like that just fucked my brain cells up. I don't understand. I can't compute. But I was so turned out off of Twilight Zone that I started to study Rod Sterling and understanding his walk. How did this, he to me was a Michelangelo. How did you create these shows? And those shows in 1960s are still relevant in 2020. In fact, the cinematography just can't be replicated. The array of topics that they covered, and all of them, at the end of the day, technology, futurism was a key factor in there. So that became the inspiration for me. And then I always had a fascination with space. So the one thing that my parents didn't strap me with or help in that journey, I actually wanted to be an astronaut. And, you know, so there was this NASA studying the planets. Right now, me and my son, I'm very big into just reading the stars. Astrology is super big with me because that's in our DNA as from Africa. So I'm very much into that. So the combination of Twilight Zone, Star Wars was just that was the new version of Wizard of Oz space itself. That just became the fascination. And so from there, entertainment. I was always, I used to be very much into rapping, would freestyle quickly, was always into gadgets. I was one of the coolest nerds that you'd ever meet, but had a street arm, was real connected in the streets. And then what ended up happening here, speeding this up, is the fact that Steve Rifkin, and he's the founder of Loud Records, DJ Ski reached out, hey, you got this thing called Urban World. You guys are doing things. We created a news outlet before TMZ right here on the West Coast. We was sending news to two-way pagers. So we was delivering news, anything that was happening, we was delivering it straight to your pager. It was like a little community. And this is real talk. E40 was one where, I had a lot of clients where you were just a go-to guy. So E40 was like, he had an issue with diabetes. And I want y'all to really absorb this. Signed to Jive Records, wanting to put out an announcement about, hey, the party and bullshit and what the effects can be on the body has to go through a bureaucratic process when you're dealing with a record label. In this paradigm shift of mobile technology, he was able to say, hey, Mike, here's the issue, and this is a message that I want to give to the peoples. All of a sudden, we took his verbiage, typed it up, pressed it, and put it on the mobile devices and was able to deliver that stuff in real time. A lot of different, and then all of a sudden, and Brandon, leveraging our fraternities and sorority, we had a lot of people that were in radio. So now all of a sudden you're bringing news that I got a two-way pager, I got a BlackBerry, and this is before the iPhone. So that's how I got to show my age on this.
Right, you're showing your age.
Yeah. And I love it.
I mean, you already talked about beepers and pagers. So.
Yes. Right on. So now all of a sudden, can you imagine in a newsroom where typically you would get news from an AP or Reuters news source, right? Traditional news sources. This is right around the time blogging is like validating itself. Oh shit, I'm getting some news right on my hip through my mobile device. And it seemed this is accurate news. This is real-time news. And now this mobile news was helping on-air personalities deliver their content. And so then there was synergies there. So I had built out Urban World News, which was, basically keeping the hood informed. It was something to just fun. Fresh out of college, like, hey, you're in this tech play. You have access to the rappers. I did some Crips a favor. I got to shout out Grape Street. Got to shout out them cats from '60s.
Y'all dropped some keys for '60s. For the Rolling '60s. We know about those over here. We know about that. Yeah. I mean, we connected to the street too around here.
Oh no. I got to also, so. Grape Street. I did a favor for one of the little homies. Didn't even know who he was, but just through the get down. That part, did a favor for him, and lo and behold, at a music festival, our summer jam, he put me in front of the rest of the set. They about 300 deep. Hey, this is the dude that did this for us, that put us on the cover of this magazine, and that kicked off everything. Now you had Hood Love from one of the biggest sets, and it became a beautiful thing. And I'm at this road where it's not about I'm not into the culture, the negativity of those things. There's actually a lot of positiveness in there that is never discussed. So when I say Big U, he could always tell you there was many Black Crips that owned businesses before Nipsey Hussle. That's another part of this conversation. But the whole point that I'm getting at is the fact that synergy of leveraging the street, the isms that were there, along with technology, made for a beautiful mix that both Silicon Valley and New York had. Wall Street didn't even have that charter. So that's where everything kicked off. And then with Steve Rifkin, what they were looking to do was kick off, hey, we got this new product called ringtones. And so you have the relationship with the artists. We're looking to create new content. Here's our document. Here's how you got to create a ringtone. I didn't know nothing how to do nothing. All I knew was I had the ambition and the desire, and I accepted the challenge. I knew producers. The one thing that they did know was that the producers would kind of understand this language, and then you might have to interpret the rest. I saw that to be true. The producers understood the equation that mattered to me, and then the rest I had. So now this goes into me signing people like Cat Williams, 3 6 Mafia. And when I signed those two, because the roster started with 2 people, then went to 60. Those 2 people, Cat Williams became one of He became one of the number 1 ringtone sellers during the ringtone phase. 3 6 Mafia goes on to win a freaking Oscar. Wow. These white motherfuckers is losing it. We paid all this money over here, And how do you bring these talent? And then this dude wins an Oscar. So now people are looking at you, right? And that's real. I want everybody to absorb, because you're as good as the next touchdown score. That's real talk in life. You're as good as the next touchdown score. So when I look at big homies like I want to say Clive Davis, but our founder over at Motown, I'd rather use him as the example, Berry Gordy.
Berry Gordy.
I look at those touchdowns, and then how do you keep your relevance for 2020? That's key, because for us, for the young generation, I don't care what you did back then. I want to hear what you did right now.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's something that for the old heads, they got to always factor in. That's why I got big shout out to the Farrakhan, because he stays relevant times 10.
Yep. Yeah. So let's talk to the attendees about adjusting, adaptation, like new business models, not staying relevant, and I know that's going to be hard for people, but just even in yourself, maybe get examples how you've been able to stay relevant and been able to adapt and move and create different business models.
Right. That's a very good question. So in the new business models for the world that we live in now, I would have to say that there's a couple of things that some key things that you want to factor in is egos, removing egos versus creating ecosystems.
You better come on, Mike. You better come with it. Come on. Let us have it.
Right on. Collaborations versus competition. And I just shared this with Sonia just the other day. Competition is when we remember us folks with the crabs in the barrel mentality. From Ohio to New York, New York to LA, LA to around the globe, Willie Lynch fucked us up with that crabs in the barrel mentality. In this post-COVID era, we have to be on the forefront of collaborations. Collaborations is key. Collaborations removes competition that embraces the community. So I put that out there. The future of work looks like this: datification, cognification, automation, and everything is smart. This is the world that we live in, and everything affects everything. Let's just start there. Everything affects everything. Everything is connected, and we have to realize that. We have to manifest. We have to master that. Everything affects everything. The layman's term is karma. I'm on steroids with it. Karma is the first level of it. When I say everything affects everything, you can hear that. Now embrace that times everything, because every movement that you have affects the next movement. And that's why data is so real. And that's why I would say data is like if we're looking at the keys to wealth, then data is at the forefront of that.
Yep.
Data is definitely at the forefront of that.
That is like the new oil, isn't it? Speak to that. Go ahead and expound on that data point.
Let's talk about the power of it.
That's gonna turn Brandy up right there. She always talking to me about data. I'm like, get out my ear about this data thing. But
Mike, I always tell the team, I'm always on like, data is my currency. That's my tagline. That is my currency. So I'm always in the back offices. I'm always in the algorithms. I'm always like, where's stuff coming from? The breadcrumbs, like, let us know, because it's our currency. It's gonna help us eat. So talk to us a little bit about that.
I'm gonna pour my last shot of tequila on this.
Oh, you got tequila? Wait a minute.
Hey man, where's my wine?
You know that's my favorite drink.
Come on now, y'all had the music playing. I love the vibe. I was getting turned up already earlier on this time. It's just now 12:15, so I'm just trying to catch up.
Right. You're on the West Coast.
Yeah, all day West Side. And I'm about to get flowerful, so don't trip. But, in real time, all for the ratings. All for the ratings. I'm looking for it right now. Like, where the hell did I put it? Roll up some flowers right now. Shit.
Right.
But data is the new oil. And here's what I want to say on top of that. Not only is data the new oil, the interpretation of that data is the gasoline. If data is the new oil, well, hell, I could give David some oil. What the fuck do you do with the oil?
Right.
How do I get the oil in the car, in the Tesla? Because I know David drives a Tesla. How do we get the oil in the Tesla? The manifest, understanding and extracting that is how you get gasoline. The extraction of the data is the gasoline. But I'm gonna hit y'all with something real tight. I like to say data is the new oil, AI is the new electricity, the Internet of Things is the new nervous system.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Man, I gotta get the replay, man. I'm looking forward to the replay.
Yeah. I hope this is recorded.
Yeah, we
data is the new oil.
Okay.
AI is in artificial intelligence. That's the electricity. The Internet of Things is the new nervous system. This is important. So when David, when you talk about this new paradigm shift, the mega shift, hey, as a result of COVID, here's the business model that I want people to really start to understand. And that's, trust is like the new gold. Trust is the new gold, and attention is the new economy. So if you're if you're a business owner, understand this. In the coming, I'm a futurist. So in the coming few years, I'd say less than 5 years, lying will become extinct. To lie is extinct. I want you to fully understand that. To lie, because remember, facial recognition is in full throttle right now. So to lie. So you have to understand, as a company, here's all of us growing up, there might be a couple years apart, but we're not too far apart. If it was a company called Tylenol and there was a scare and we got to do a recall, Toyota as a manufacturer having to do a recall, or any products of today, we have to retract that information. This goes hand in hand with Donald Trump saying fake news, right? That trust becomes the new gold. Think of the economy that we live in today. The economy, as we're talking about stimulus plans and people getting their checks, that's all printed money. Money has long since been backed by gold. Right. That shit has been deleted. That's obsolete. Gold right now in today's economy still stands, and digital currency is right there. Bitcoins is right there. So this word trust, when I say trust is the new gold. That was the former US dollar backed by gold. Now that dollar is trust. So anything that you do, anybody that's a startup operation, hey, I'm looking to get into business, your trustworthiness is the gold. And as you build it out, as you build your company out, attention is the new currency. So when I say attention is the new currency, that's to say that's actually coming from a marketing standpoint that focuses in on how do you monetize. Because once I create a product, you know what, David, just give me a product. Let's just have we could freestyle it right now. Just give me a product.
Let's say cell phone. I got my cell phone in my hand.
Cell phone. So David and Brandy's got a new cell phone inspired by Killer Mark, Black-owned product. All right, there it is. Now, in order to get the attention, we need to promote this, right? I need to get an influencer. We have the Amarosas of the world. We got Master P. We got Ray J. Let me get it out to them, because as they get the attention, Ray J with Raycon and what he's done, let me put it into more hands. We know hand-to-hand combat. That's our attention. The more people that's the root word to viral. Right? Viral videos. The whole root word of that is hey, keep spreading. People pay so much money just for attention, because once I get the attention, then I can get the activation. Once I get the activation, the call to action has already been established. So businesses would want to understand that and master that. But what I'd want to leave everybody with in terms of this pivot, and back to what you said, David, the world that we're living in is really going to be focused on for us to be able to communicate with each other. That's to collaborate, reinvent, trust, and be human.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
There's this artificial intelligence. The ladies are going to win real big with emotional intelligence. So I look at IQ versus EQ. IQ versus EQ. That's also all part of this new shift, this mega shift. The IQ, college fucked all of us up. And check this out. That's why I'm a slave education system, because what's your GPA determined from high school where you could go to college. Now that you graduate college and you're 10 years into the workforce, who'd be checking for a GPA?
Yeah.
Did anybody ask for Diddy's GPA right now?
No, right.
No.
Mark Zuckerberg, what's your GPA? What, that's irrelevant. That's not even on the charts. But everybody else, we were courted into this belief, God, I got to get 3.5. I'm shooting for a 4.0. Fuck that.
Right.
Fuck all that. Right now, everything is about everybody, everywhere, and everyone. As long as you understand that, game's on. Be human. There's the human intelligence factor, artificial intelligence factor, and emotional intelligence factor. By human intelligence, I'm saying knowledge workers. So for my Latino brothers, my Black brothers, you need to make sure that you secure a knowledge set skill, critical thinking being one of them. For the females, you already by design come with EQ, the whole, IQ, EQ, emotional intelligence, EQ. You already are built for that. There are things that I don't relate with, or I have to retrain or unlearn myself because society even, let me take a shot. Hold on.
Go for it. Take your time. Take your time. It's your world.
Take your time.
I'm at this, and you heard it here first on Keys to Black Wealth. We have on the East Coast the political realm, and that's called DC. We have on the West Coast Hollywood. I'm at the forefront of saying that there needs to be a new department in government called society. And maybe society should be somewhere, that department should be in Chicago or Ohio, somewhere in the middle, literally strategically located in the middle, because here's what Hollywood does. Look at Brandy and her hair. Look at how many white people, Karens included, that don't like your hair like that. Fearful of your hair like that. Your antennas might be too strong.
Blackity black.
That part. Your antennas might be too strong. So now, once upon a time, you can't wear that hairdo. That's what my mom was faced with. Them braids got to come out.
Right.
To, again, further things like, empathy. Guys, myself and David, our level of empathy may not equal you. And that's why due to COVID, we see that the president, prime minister for New Zealand, let alone Finland, are two countries led by women that are at the forefront of this change, this new paradigm shift, this mega shift that I'm speaking of, because the new world, or we used to say, the new world order. I say the changing world order. And women will be empowered in that. And that empowerment is the fact that emotional intelligence plays a big role in that.
Hey, that's so, in our community, it's kind of just first thought is kind of like, it's like not show emotion. It's the big thing. It's like the stronger you are, the less you show emotion and all that. That's what, just talk to that point, because I mean, even for myself, it's something new just to listen to, but I see people in the chat talking about it. You're obviously talking about it, just that emotional. And I always feel like being able to empathize with people and, being big in that, but just talk about that, just that, go deeper with that whole point of just understanding people, relating, and it's a whole emotional intelligence behind it too.
And I like to tack on another piece of that, specifically Black men as well. I want to hear your thoughts, Black men, because you talk about the household and things like that. So
yes.
Brandy, thank you you were in my brain with that. So I salute you, David, for asking that question. And I'm very humble in saying this. You're on the world stage, and that question that you asked, David, that is a very unique question. I'm literally dealing with some people in Switzerland to Australia, and you just posed a question that for the Americas is real. And wow, I got to process that. I want to take another shot. Here's my answer to that. I'm going to unfold it.
Okay.
Correct. Men were taught, and Brandy, by you emphasizing for Black men, we're taught to be taught. So within we the culture, then there's we the Black men. And within we the Black men, we've already been programmed as to moving forward, how things are. Let's start with whipping. Kunte Kinte. Toby.
Right.
the child being whipped, right? These are things that Black men face heavy because the man was once a child. So the conditioning of that whip got him to where he is today. I'm a product of that. To a lesser degree, I'm a product of that, and that's just due to Jamaica, the scars from England, that part. So, to your point, Dave, that's like the best question asked. We, the community, now, so to bring it all together for the sake of Brandy, we have a. I'm optimistic. It just came. I'm optimistic. Here's what's up. We went from blue jeans worn one way to skinny jeans.
Yeah.
And in that transition, those who wore the skinny in the changing of that, in that transition, feel me now, in the transition of now skinny jeans is accepted. Hold up, this dude is 280 pounds and he got those on. It's now accepted 2020. Right. But in that transition, if Shaq did it in the transition, what the?
Right.
Yeah. We're faced with that now. We're faced with that now as it relates to gays and hip hop. If we rewind the clock, that was what the fuck?
Right.
Now it's kind of in there. Girls and girls, it's kind of, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Guy, it's still a little, but all right. All right,
Exactly.
Can you imagine that with emotion? Could you imagine 50 Cent now having the emotions expressed because he's cut from this way and now he has to transition, he has to make that pivot. That's the key word, the pivot this way. I got to now adapt into emotional intelligence. The best way that a Black man can embrace this is having a daughter. That by default changes everything. Yeah. A daughter will first be the first wave in which, oh shit, I'm a little sensitive. Oh shit, I'm doing a little thing. Oh, is that me? Is this me right now? Right. Having that moment. Yeah. And that's okay. And I think, David, to your point, we weren't taught that. That was negative. It's almost like when I say the coolest nerd, well, because being a nerd was never cool. So being a nerd was never cool, but now the nerds, Will Ferrell, and company created the nerds, and now that helps to be a transition into maybe being a square is actually cool. I'm into adapting that. If my white boys be telling me, "Hey, Mike, what do I know? I'm just a nerdy white guy."
Right.
You're the power.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Let's make smart cool again.
Absolutely. And just to be clear, I'm the coolest nerd.
You're the coolest female nerd.
Coolest female nerd. That part.
Join me.
So that connection you made was dope. It was really deep, and I got it. I hope everybody else got it as well. The whole analogy of the skinny jean to the regular jean to the skinny jean as it relates to Black men from expressing empathy to now not expressing to now
not expressing, right?
Yeah.
Look at the eras from Death Row. We come from gangbanging now to. When you saw Boys in the Hood and you saw the shooting, the brother David felt that, but we expressed it in a different way. Now you might be able to shed a tear. You might be able to let the tear hang out. You kept that inward. And emotional intelligence, it's okay. It's almost like saying that's that paradigm shift. Once upon a time, TV anchors were smoking cigarettes. Dan Ratherman was smoking cigarettes while reporting the news. Yep. You were on the plane smoking cigarettes. Then these motherfuckers had cancer. They stopped it. There was the transition. And so us now seeing it, we were like, damn, they used to do that? That's like me saying, wow, they was gangbanging like that. Death Row Records was like that. That birthed emotional rap, emo rap. So we're already at this transition. That's why I said I there's a sense of optimism, especially as it relates to hip hop, which I feel is a key vehicle that will join that's a part of Black Lives Movement, Black Lives Matter, to create this change. This change that's happening right now. I love, before this call, I was already dealing with people in South Africa, and one of my guys just let me know. Do you know the smartest or the richest? So as we're talking about keys to Black wealth, Do you realize before the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, the richest human on earth is still a black man, evaluated at 400 billion. The Rothschilds are at 350 billion. Don't ask me, that's Forbes. They reported that. But I'll tell you that on some African, because there's a difference between history and his story. So Forbes for you, for those people that need that. But the people that I know and the tribe that they're from, you know, I'm going to give a big shout out to those from the Xhosa tribe. And right before this call, I swear to God, because they wanted to join. And here's what I want to share. That $10 for them, or to them joining on Eventbrite, they didn't have it. They didn't have the $10. What we can, you know, so look at the economics.
Right.
They didn't have that. The apartheid was brand new over there. That's 1980. You guys were just born. What Nelson Mandela just did, they are already, I made sure that a lot of people in South Africa, so we probably will have some guests from South Africa, but there are certain people that $10, they couldn't afford it. I'm Jamaican. I know what $10 is in Jamaica versus the food that I need to feed my family with.
Right.
So you as an American, one of the biggest things for Black Americans is to realize that, David, how many people have you thought of moving to the Ukraine?
Have I ever thought about moving to the Ukraine? No, I can't say that I have.
Randy, have you ever thought about moving to Pakistan?
That would be a no.
But the person from Pakistan, the person from Ukraine has already thought about moving to America.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said to Sonia the other day, and I gave some different analogies here, that's where we, the Black culture, we, the people, we, the culture, have to really now realize where you are and let things manifest. You're in the greatest country on earth next to Africa, but economically, this is the greatest country on earth. Use the resources here. And right now, from your phone, for anything that I need to investigate, things that I need to learn, I'm gonna just start with Google. They made Google. So let me use they tools
right.
to get what I need.
Yeah. So this is there's so much, man. We got to do a whole session with you just because this is powerful. Somebody said, Andrea said, let me go light my incense. Like this is everything.
Andrea, I'm still looking for the flower. Like where the hell
Andrea Mike is looking for the flower. So you get your incense, you get his flower, and you know, we got a self-made situation here. Oh man, my mind was getting ready to go.
I got something I want to ask because
you've been asking some serious questions. I love it, boy. Your enthusiasm,
man. I'll be thinking, man. You be having my mind going. So
and I need that shirt. I need that shirt.
Address.
That's what I want.
Address. So we can get him that shirt ASAP.
Yeah, we'll get you the shirt. We'll send that out. From a company perspective, we got a lot of business owners on here, and how can you use that emotional intelligence you're talking about, or just that emotional appeal to target consumers? Is that something that companies are really looking at? Obviously they are, but just from our perspective, how do we even go about implementing that?
Man, you're on fire. Please, you're on fire. So let me start with this. Here's a new term that I want everybody to know called Chief Purpose Officer. Chief Purpose Officer. Make sure that we're clear. We grew up, but David, Brandy knew the title of CEO, CFO, COO. Those were the standard titles. Those were the traditional titles. Now these titles have expanded to words like Chief People Officer. But Chief Purpose Officer now changes the paradigm as it relates to nonprofit organizations.
Right.
Because now if I'm a Chief Purpose Officer, I don't need to set up the McDonald's company versus the Ronald McDonald's Foundation. The Chief Purpose Officer is one that's aware of what's going on in the times. How do they embrace the times that we're in? Showing empathy, right? So I'm going to embrace the time. So here's your answer, David. And I really thought on this. Netflix, Hulu, Apple, We're with you in solidarity. Let me do it like that.
Right.
We're with you in solidarity. We're with you in solidarity. That's powerful. Trayvon died. Were they with us in solidarity then?
Right.
How many people died in Chicago on any given day? Was they with us on solidarity then?
Right.
Yeah. Now in these moments, the light bulb clicks. So that's okay. That's okay. The emotion side is understand that now that they've done that, here's what they're looking to do. Their companies are looking to fund outfits because I feel guilty. I told Sonia, your soror this.
Right.
And she knows it. She shared this with me. I manifested it. 40 acres and a mule is not happening, but guilt money is. Guilt money is, and guilt money is based off of emotions. Guilt money is based off of emotional intelligence. That's why you got the situation going on with Aunt Jemima. That's converted right. So for that question, David, how do I embrace empathy or emotion? You got a lot of stuff in front of you. Put the glasses on. Make sure you got the glasses on to say, hey, Black business, the product, as a Black business owner, if I was, just off the Crenshaw, off the Shaw, I'm selling t-shirts, I'm selling socks. Ohio know what it is. I'm selling these simple things. The Chinese got us a 2 for $2.99. Becky came in the store with only $2.98. Hey, let me flip it up. I told her I have the tequila. Let me flip it up. Becky came in with $2.98. Do you turn her away or do you appeal to the emotions? Girl, give me that money. All right, go ahead. Get those socks. There you go. You start right there. Tom just came in trying to get them white tees. He only got $2.90. Tom, come on, give me that money. They go empathy right there. They go emotion right there. Would I rather the $2.90 or the $3? It's the simple things that we can do. Notice how I switched up the names because I could have said Tyrone and Becky. Yeah. But I would just call it, and the power is in the word, so that's the get down.
So there's a lot of questions coming through the chat, but I got one question for you before we go to the chat, and then we'll let the chat take over. What are you reading? What are you digesting as far as content? Are you a reader? Are you podcast? Like, what are you digesting in your mind?
The Bible. I stay reinforced in the Bible. I stay reinforced in the Bible, and I stay reinforced in reading. So as much as I like to, work out and lift weights, it was something when you can get to the 300 club in benching. It became something epic when you can get to the 400 club in benching. Imagine when you can do that with your mind.
Ooh. I said brain push-ups. I'm doing brain exercise. I always talking to people like, what you working out? I work out my brain.
Yes.
That part.
Yeah.
Yes.
We got some questions, so we got rapid fire. We got you for 10 more minutes, Mike. How can blacks surge past oppression and start really progressing? Because right now it seems like we're only progressing for the white man and not for ourselves.
A good question. Each one teach one. When I first heard that question, the first thing that came to mind was each one teach one. For those that know, teach. For those that don't know, learn. And so when you put that formula in place, if I gave that to David and then David told that to Brandy, and then Brandy told that to the next person, then now we have the seed. It's all about planting the seed that grows the tree.
That geometric progression, like 3 who get 3, who get 3, who get 3. You know, after a while, there's thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Yes. And then you control that with data.
Right.
That part.
That is the currency. All right. So, Andrea, here's my question. What does his daily spiritual balancing routine looks like? Any favorite? Okay, we already talked about any favorite books, recommendations, or podcasts. We already talked about that one. But did you want to expound on your spiritual?
How do you get your mind right, man? How do you get your
powers? Mental wellness is so key, and that's a very good question as well. These are some damn good questions. I'm loving this. Every day especially because we're talking the key to Black wealth. So all of us are spiritual. Everybody believes in the higher power. So I know that there's no atheists. It's very few Black atheists. So your spiritual connection, you're tuned in with the higher power, is detrimental. Every day that I start, and here's real talk, this conversation for Brandy and David. I find that if I don't check in with God to start the day, there can be a percentage of the day that gives the fuck up. And God has a sense of humor.
Oh my God.
God has a sense of humor. So when I'm able to wake up, just the ability to wake up, out here in LA, it's so real. To have the luxury of sleeping is power. That's real, because we got Tent City in Oakland. Skid Row in LA is real. I want you to understand that fully. The population of Skid Row, let alone Oakland's Tent City, can be populations across the country. So I understood full force as somebody that was once homeless, sleeping in a Volvo, before we can talk about seven figures, just to have the ability to sleep is powerful. So I give praise when I can give sleep, heal my body, restore my body, to wake up, give God the glory, and then be in tune. The difference between prayer and meditation is prayer I talk, meditation I listen.
Hold on, repeat that.
Prayer I talk, meditation I listen.
Somebody drop that in the chat. Somebody taking notes in the chat. That's powerful.
That's right.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about the whole, sleeping and that just being so powerful. Mike, I share with you, my story of surviving homelessness and extreme poverty. And, I used to always say my address was a 1976 Blue Monte Carlo backseat, that was our backyard. And we're going to have Omarosa on tonight. And I hope you'll stay with us and kick it and hang out with the chat.
You already know.
Maybe even later on, hop back on the screens, maybe for the late night session. But she actually started from extreme poverty as well. So there's a difference between poverty and extreme poverty. So people like her and I, and the things that you're talking about right now, is that extreme poverty, which is defined by not having basic needs and necessities such as shelter, food, and water. So when you talk about the psychological process of that and really what that means as far as spiritual balance and not taking those things for granted, it's so powerful. So I definitely felt you on that piece there.
Thank you.
So Jeremy Wade, question. How do you think the presentation of emotional intelligence as verbal or written micro content strategies will impact the Black man? For example, Black men being able to rationalize, i.e., and create leverage for their business.
You want that one more time?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand the question. How do
you think the presentation of emotional intelligence as verbal or written micro content strategies will impact the Black man? I was hoping you could answer. This is over my head.
So the end game to that is redefinition. We must unlearn what we learned. So stereotypes and whatever the imagery of us once or was, or what was, we're now at the changing of the guard where we're now redefining it. I think Akon said it best. We must create our own narrative.
Right.
So whether a Black man was taught, hey, don't cry, take that whipping, be tough, on some gangbanging, on some initiation, be tough. You're supposed to suck. You don't cry on your damn getting beat into a gang. Right? I'm giving it to you on some street level shit. Hey man, I want to be a Crip. You think I'm gonna get jumped into a gang? I'm supposed to cry? This ain't Tekashi 6ix9ine scenario right now. Trying to redefine snitching. But if I'm being jumped into a gang, a code, right? So the code has been standing for however long. And now to that question is to say that then we're redefining it. And this kind of supports Tekashi 6ix9ine. We're in the process of redefining it. So I almost look at that question almost with a little bit of a bigger problem, which is masculinity, right? So to embrace emotion, then we have to redefine masculinity or our masculinity to begin with. to embrace this emotional intelligence, then masculinity, especially in a Western society, here's what it looked like. And that's being redefined. Remember, I talked about the skinny jeans, regular jeans.
Right.
That's a part of the masculinity. That's a part of the scheme of things. And in Africa, I can say like that's almost like, hey, we're going to wear our tribal clothes, and now we're going to switch to something else.
That's deep. That's deep. So what else is on your mind? What else are you? We got you for 4 more minutes. What else is on your mind?
So right now, one of the big things that we got going on, we're launching urbanworld.io. And this is the first platform that's really focused on attention. So the more videos that you watch, you get points, you get tokens that reward you, that unlock doors to exclusive content. So we're kind of building something on a gamification model. Our urban world that we're launching, urbanworld.io, is really focused on, I guess in short, the LinkedIn of culture. WorldStar meets LinkedIn. So we've now created a platform that's really focused on entertainment, education, inspiration, collaborations, and creation.
You said that was Urban World. You said urbanworld.io. We're gonna put it in the chat for people.
Yeah, urbanworld.io. So that's our new get down, and we're rolling out. In fact, this week we got Chris and Irv Gotti that are going to be making a new announcement in terms of the relaunch of Murder Inc., home to Ja Rule and Ashanti. Wow. So we have them on as guests. So we've created our own platform. So as we talk about data and all those good things, we're really focused on the ownership of for us, by us. So within Urban World, we're connecting Afrobeats, hip hop, and reggae, the whole African diaspora. You can connect with this person. Not only can you connect with this person, but you can talk with this person. Not only can you talk with this person, but you can set up meetups.
Wow.
Not only can you, and if you're an influencer, then the meetups can then be able to have backstage, right? And create new revenue streams for influencers to monetize, and for those that are learning the game to be able to take advantage of.
Nice. So real quick, I know everybody's asking what's your IG, so I'm gonna let them know Mike is on LinkedIn, but I mean we got to get you an IG page for us. I know you. I know your philosophy about IG and LinkedIn.
Well, so here's my get down on that. When we look at, hey, what's your Twitter handle? What's your Facebook? What's your Instagram? What's, all that? Be mindful. That's the common errors. If you're really a business player in this game, what's your LinkedIn?
Right.
The reason why I say that is the fact that even in lieu of we don't own those things, I'm in the valley of where the decision makers are. Find me over there. If you're not over there, then you got a problem. I'm not on Twitter. No, I'm not on Instagram. That's common air stuff. Shake your ass and do that. I didn't come here to entertain. I didn't come here to party. But if you want to get with me on some business, then you find me on LinkedIn. So yeah, Mike Johns on LinkedIn. That's it. Church.
That's all. Church.
That's it. That's what they need to know. And if you don't have a LinkedIn account, shame on you.
So get y'all LinkedIn. They got LinkedIn. We got the business.
You gotta have LinkedIn.
Yeah, got the business professionals online.
We want our business professionals. I'm not even, because the crazy part is, what's your LinkedIn handle or your Twitter? What's your Instagram? We making them the money.
Right.
Yeah, I'm connecting with you on short rank, but we making them the money. So if I can narrate that in the interim, fuck with me on LinkedIn, then get with me on Urban World.
Right. I feel you on that. But real quick, David, and I know we're getting ready to wrap up. We're almost out of time. We're over time. But
well, we're still waiting on the DJ, so we got a couple more minutes.
Okay,
I love the DJ.
I've been wanting to ask you this. I've been wanting to ask you this since we talked a couple of weeks ago about the whole IG, because we're gonna have tomorrow. Everybody, make sure you invite somebody, because tomorrow's going down. We have a round table, and it's how to get the bag part 2. And these are people who's leveraged their social media. So, you talk about leveraging and things like that, and data and technology. And they've now leverage social media to be able to get the bag. So, I mean, individuals are making $500,000 a month, $1 million a month, you know, people from extreme poverty, people with a lot of barriers to different things like jobs, money, you know, background barriers, felonies are now leveraging social media to get the bag. And Instagram is that platform that people have really learned how to like decode the algorithm system, you know, and change their financial perspective by utilizing that. So I hear you on the LinkedIn in that aspect as well, but I also know that there's people getting the bag on IG right now. We're going to hear from some of them, you know, tomorrow. They're really leveraging these algorithms. So, I mean, I don't know if you have any thoughts or any feedback to that perspective.
I love it. I so love that. What's the difference between the NFL player and the NFL owner?
Well, that part.
What's the difference between the NBA player who's making $30 million and the NBA owner?
Right.
You know what? It was just funny. That's a great question. You guys are all asking great questions. Golly, Google what billionaires are doing in COVID-19 and then look at other people. Will Smith can be, hey, I'm going to take to Instagram Live and I'll do this. And then I can actually take advantage of a platform to monetize. You know, Instagram is doing, you know what Mark Zuckerberg is doing? It's a lot different. It's a lot different. So to that point, and I'll tune into that. I think, you know, if you were a zero and now you made $50, be wise to take the $50 to reinvest.
Gotcha.
Don't take your stimulus check and buy a TV from Walmart. That part. Don't do that. Don't do that. So for those people, and I'm with them. I do realize that the opportunity has unfolded where people have taken to Instagram Live, and now all of a sudden they're seeing new economic dollars. Hell, I could tell you about people that's on IG that's strippers. Take it to a virtual experience, right? We can keep it real. You just do it like that.
Right.
But why not be the owner of it versus the downloader of content, the platform? And that's what I'm about, the platform. So take your money, do what you do. It's no different than the fact that now that we're in this kumbaya moment, and how can I give my money to a black cause?
Right.
But there's stipulations with that. And in the stipulations is I'm also an investor. I have stock in your shit.
Yeah.
That data comes to me. Right? So I have to be wise to say that, all right, I understand what I'm signing up for because I have zero. You're providing me the money. I will take your money, give you what you need, and reinvest over here.
Okay.
Like somebody mentioned the OnlyFans account, and I know you were talking about intention. I know you were talking about intentions, the new economy now, right?
Yeah, OnlyFans. That's a good example. I'm very familiar with them. So they're filling a void that focuses in on the fact that in these times, here's what you can do. Use our app, and now you can use this to monetize. Strippers, twerk girls are using that to go ahead and get their money, right?
Right. Yeah.
Why not own it? For Keys to Black Wealth, let's make sure that we empower people to create those platforms, because the money is not the US dollar. The money is the data.
Data.
That's 10 times over that dollar. So your immediate focus that pays bills, that buys you the Louis Vuitton might be the cash. I want the data.
Period.
I'll worry about that later.
Yep.
So Brandon, to answer that question, the get down that I have for you is these platforms have created an opportunity for you to monetize. What you do with your money is on you.
Got it. Man. Telling you, this is a whole, this is everything. Hey, so Mike Johns, thank you so much. The chat's going crazy, it's going bananas. When you get back into the other side, check it out and interact with people. Hopefully you'll hang out with us throughout the course of the weekend. Celebrate with us. We're gonna turn up a little bit. We're gonna get into the little day party. So for everybody who's still on, it's day party time. Grab your snacks, your Chipotle, whatever